head and neck support that you might like. I like to take my feet wide and let the knees lean in against one another so that the inner thighs can relax. So you can give that a try if you'd like. And once you get there, you might take a few sighs. And as you sigh out the mouth, noticing where you're making contact with the floor or your props. Noticing if you could let go to gravity anymore or any further. Letting go of tension in your jaw, softening your tongue. And as you're ready to, let's begin to breathe in a little bit wider. So on the inhale, you might feel like your rib cage is opening up like an umbrella in all directions. And let's blow out through pursed lips this time. So a long exhale like you're blowing out through a straw. Till you get every last bit of air out. And repeating that a couple of times. Now, if you want to breathe in and out through your nose, go for it, or breathe however you'd like to breathe. Let's take the arms wide, spreading out from the shoulders, and keeping the feet wide too. We'll just take the knees away from one another. Begin to windshield wiper the knees side to side. So both knees go down to one side and then the other. And as you do this, let's pay particular attention to your feet. So noticing the change in contact with your feet on the floor. And then letting your attention move up into the ankles, lower legs, knees, thighs, hips, and your low back. Just letting your breath flow here. You don't have to breathe at any particular time. And let's come back together, back to center with the knees. And let's straighten the legs out on the floor. And inhale, reach through your heels so the toes pull back toward the shin. And reaching your arms overhead if that feels okay on your shoulders. And exhale to bring your right knee in and give it a squeeze. So just holding it with the hands. Inhale there. Exhale there. And then inhale, let's stretch out again. Arms overhead, legs straight. Exhale, left knee in. Inhaling there. Exhaling there. And then inhale, stretching out again. And now we'll just do that a little bit quicker. So we'll inhale, arms overhead, exhale, knee in. And then inhale, release, arms overhead. And exhale the other knee in. And you can just move at your own pace, side to side. If you want to go slower than me or more quickly, that's fine. Now, the next time you get your right knee in, let's stay there. And let's sort of roll the ankle around. And then roll it in the opposite direction. Now, letting the ankle relax, let's bend the left knee, place the foot on the floor. And feel all of the toes of your left foot. Let's hold behind the right hamstrings. And inhale to straighten the leg toward the ceiling. And exhale to bend it again. And repeating. And just let your ankle be relaxed. And then if you want to, you could keep the leg up there towards straight. And let's inhale, pull the toes towards your shin, or even you can think of it as pulling more like the midfoot towards your shin. And exhale, let's point the ankle and repeat. So we're moving through dorsiflexion of the ankle and plantar flexion. And as you're doing this, look at your ankle and notice how much range this particular ankle has and how it feels throughout your lower leg. Good. And then releasing the leg, let's bring the foot to the floor and straighten out both legs on the floor. And just tuning in for a moment to the difference in sensation on the two sides. And then as you're ready, we'll inhale, reach arms overhead again. And exhale, bringing the left leg in and holding it with your hands. Pausing for your inhale and then letting your breath flow as you start to roll your ankle around. A few times in one direction and then reversing. And then letting the ankle relax, let's bend the right knee and place the foot on the floor. And feel all the toes of your right foot. Holding behind the left leg and inhale to straighten and exhale to bend and repeat. As you're doing this, can you still feel your right foot on the floor? And then the next time you get up there, if you want to keep the legs straight, go for it. And we'll inhale to dorsiflex the ankle. So it's like you're bringing the midfoot closer to your shin. And exhale, you're pressing it away. It's like a point and flex, but we're focusing on the ankle rather than the toes. Noticing if the foot is taking a straight path as the ankle moves and how much mobility is there, and also just how it feels throughout your lower leg. All right, and then relaxing the ankle. Let's bring the foot down and straighten out both legs, noticing how the sensations are now. All right, and now let's bend the knees again, feet and knees about hips distance and parallel. And we're going to just inhale and press the low back down toward the floor. And exhale, let's rock the pelvis forward And so you've got a curve between your low back and the floor. So just some pelvic press downs and repeat. Inhale, press the low back down. Exhale, rock the pelvis forward. Keep going. Normally we do the opposite of the breathing here, but we've got a different purpose today. So you can try it this way, see how it feels for you. You might notice that your head moves slightly as the pelvis rocks. Might do a little bit of a nodding. Okay. Now we're going to add in some ankle movements with this. And you might need to adjust where your feet are, so feel free to move them. And what we're going to do is, as you press the low back down and inhale, we're going to dorsiflex the ankles. So we're going to be on the heels. That'll be our inhale. And then as you exhale, we'll rock the pelvis forward and come onto the balls of the feet, lifting the heels off the floor. And repeat. So inhale, heels down, low back presses down. And exhale and rock onto the heels. Forgot that part. And then exhale, rock pelvis forward, lift heels. Okay, keep going. So you're rocking through the ankles. There's a lot to do for your brain here. And just notice how the two sides are moving through the ankles. Okay, and then just pause. Okay, just rest and pause for a moment. All right, we're going to now come into bridge pose. At first, we're just going to come up and down into bridge pose. You can go any height and you can do it however you'd like to, okay? So what we'll do is inhale, lift up, lift the hips off the floor, pressing into the feet. And exhale, lower back down. Okay, and repeat. Noticing how high up your body wants to go, where your feet want to be. You'll want to take away, I forgot to mention, you might want to take away anything big behind your head. I took my blanket out of the way. So you can keep your neck in neutral. Good, and then taking a break, you might windshield wiper the knees a little bit, side to side. And now what we're going to do is we're going to put that all together. And you can always watch me first if you want to. So what I'm going to do is my arms are just relaxed wherever they feel best, all right? And my feet too. I might need to move my feet around to find the best spot for me. I'm going to inhale, press my low back down, rock onto the heels, and come into bridge pose. And then I'll exhale, lowering hips, rock pelvis forward, come onto the balls of the feet, lifting the heels. And repeat. So I inhale, low back presses down, dorsiflex the ankles, lift hips. Exhale, lower down, rock pelvis forward, lift heels. All right, you can join me whenever you want to. Go at any pace. And it doesn't matter if you match the breath. It's okay. Change it up however you want to. All right, and when you're ready to be done, you can come on down and let's give the knees a hug. You can hold above or below the knees. Might want to rock slightly side to side or make circles on your low back. I'm just noticing how your mind is feeling. If you're feeling really distracted today, that's fine, but just being aware of it. Or if you're feeling tired or sluggish, just kind of noticing what's going on for you. And now we'll either roll to your side and press yourself up to a seat, or if you want to, you can curl into a ball and rock yourself up. And we'll come to a seat. You can use a blanket to sit on or not, all right? A pillow or a blanket. And let's just take your legs out in front of you. And we'll do what we were doing on our back, but with both ankles at once. So we'll inhale, pull the toes back or the feet back into dorsiflexion, and exhale, point. And repeat, noticing when you're doing it at the same time, if the ankles are the same or if they're different. You may have had ankle injuries or foot injuries over the years. So a lot of the practice of yoga is about finding a state of union or unity with your body and your mind and your breath or your spirit, right? So you might feel scattered in your daily life, and most of us do. And so it's a time to practice kind of bringing everything together, practice being in your body. All right, just let your ankles rest. Let's take a hold of the right foot. So to do that, I'm going to bend my right knee and bring the foot over. Now, this might not work for everybody, so you can always come to your chair, and that might be easier to reach your foot seated in your chair. All right, so that's an option too. I'm going to take my left hand. I've got my right sole of foot, so I'm going to take my left hand so that the palm is touching the sole of my right foot, and then I'm going to try to get my fingers in between my toes. All right, you might be successful and you might not be, so you just do it any amount that you can, okay? And get them in there, and all I'm doing is I'm moving my hand back and forth to move the forefoot back and forth. Keep breathing. Notice how it feels. All right. Then you can also try to spread out your fingers and see if the toes will spread a little bit or maybe a lot, noticing that. And then let's take the hand out. And now we're going to take both hands, okay? And I've got one hand, my right is on the forefoot and my left is on my heel. And I've taken my left hand, just kind of cupping the heel like this, and I'm twisting now. So I'm twisting, and I'll show closer to the camera too. I'm basically going, boop. Just trying to mobilize all of these. I think it's 26 bones in the foot, might be 27, I can't remember exactly, something like that. There's a lot going on in there. So I'm just mobilizing, feeling into it, noticing what might be tight. And then you can also take your thumbs and just give a little rub to your foot. Notice how it feels. Keep breathing. All right, and then you can let go of that foot and straighten the leg back out. Just take a look at your 2 feet. You might even try to spread the toes on their own. And then let's bring in the other leg. Okay, and again, you might have an injury on one side that you have to make adjustments for, change positions, go for it. It doesn't need to look like this. First thing I'm going to do is take my right hand and try to bring that palm to the sole of the left foot, and then trying to weave my fingers in between the toes. And then start that movement back and forth. And then you can also try to spread out the fingers, spread out the toes. And let's take the hand out. And now the first one I'm going to do is grab the forefoot and go back and forth with each side. Mobilize that area. And then the second one, I brought one hand to cup the heel and the other hand to the forefoot. I'm just playing around with it because on this foot, oh yeah, this foot I'm just doing it a little bit differently. But I'm still doing the same thing. I've just got, I think I'm using opposite hands. I've got one hand on the heel, one hand on the forefoot, and I'm just going back and forth, back and forth. Good. And then when you're ready, let go. Let's straighten out the legs. Try to spread out the toes, see if it works to spread them. All right, and now let's come onto hands and knees. You can always pad the knees if you want to. You could always be on your forearms instead of your hands if that feels better. We'll spread the fingers a little bit, and let's try tucking the toes under. Okay, so trying to get even my pinky toes tucked under. And I'm going to move through a few cats and cows. You can breathe however you want to here. Okay, now let's come into a neutral position in the middle, and now let's put the feet flat. Okay, you can always put a rolled up blanket below the ankles if you want. Let's protract the shoulder blades, which just means widen them. Okay, I'm not rounding when I do that. I'm just pressing the floor a little bit more away. Okay, good. And now from here, could you lift your left knee off the floor and take the knee back and up, and then out to the side. You don't have to balance your teacup, as I like to say, so you can let the hip move fully around. Now, if your wrists are bothering you, we're not working a lot on wrists today, you could always be forearms on yoga blocks here instead. I mean, just getting the biggest circle you can, right? You don't have to keep the hips square. And then reverse that action or that direction. Good. And then let's put the knee back down. If you need to take a rest or recalibrate, go for it. Otherwise, we'll again press the floor away so the shoulder blades are wide without rounding the spine. And then as you're ready to, keep breathing, lift the other knee off the floor. And then start to draw circles. And then reverse the direction. Good, and now let's get both feet on the floor again, or both knees. Tuck the toes. We're just gonna come up through a bear get up. So that's just lifting knees off the floor, walking hands back, and coming to standing. And when you get to standing, take your time, no rush. We'll inhale and reach the arms up toward the ceiling, and exhale, arms out to the sides and down. Right, and then we'll just stand here for a moment in Tadasana, or that means mountain pose in Sanskrit. So allowing your eyes to soften and relax. So feeling your strength grounded through the floor. So you feeling the balls of your feet, the heels of your feet, and then rising up out of that groundedness. Feeling your breath go in and go out. And you can close your eyes for a moment if you want to, or you can also keep them open, tuning in to how you feel right now from the inside out. So you might be aware of different sensations. Might notice the difference in the two sides of the body. We're trying to do this with a spirit of non-judgment. So you're simply observing and being curious, trying to let go of wanting anything to be different. And when you're ready to, you can open your eyes again. We'll just start to rock on the feet. You could always hold the back of your chair if you want to. Just inhale, rocking up, lifting heels. Exhale, rocking back onto the heels. So it's the same movement that we did in our bridge pose on our back with our ankles, just a little bit different, right? May help for balance if you're trying to balance, just to get your eyes focused on one spot. Yeah, nice, you guys. You might start to feel some action in your calves or your feet and ankles. All right, next time you come down, let's just keep the feet down, and we'll try to notice the three corners of the feet. So the ball of the big toe pressing down. So what I mean is like right there. And then the ball on the outer foot a little bit. And then the center of the heel. So feeling those three spots on both feet. And sometimes we can't feel all of them because of various injuries or just habitual ways of standing. Noticing that and breathing. All right, let's get our chairs and place the back of the chair to face you or to be in front of you. And let's stand a little bit back from the chair. And we'll be stepping forward, right heel, then ball of foot. That's it. And then rocking back. So when I go back, I'm going to come back to my left foot and I'm going to bend my left knee, and I'm bringing that right foot up, rocking onto the heel, and I'm leaning forward. Now you could use the chair as you lean forward. And I'm going to inhale, lift back up, rock forward to that front foot. And right now I'm bending my toes in the back. So I'm taking them into extension when I come forward. And then I'm rocking back. And it doesn't matter. You don't have to go as deep as I am into this hinge at the hips. You can do any amount. So really finding a rhythm with the focus being on the feet and ankles. It could be any amount. If it bothers that left knee, again, you don't have to bend it as much. Okay. Okay, now next time you come forward, let's rock over the top of the foot. So see what I did? Now my toes are in flexion and my ankle is in plantar flexion, and then go back. Okay, so same thing, I'm just rolling over the top of the foot, stretching the toes. And if you have limitations because of various foot stuff, surgeries and such, you just adapt and do what works for your body. Okay, now let's stay in this stretch for the top of the foot and ankle. And breathe. Okay, if you start to get a cramp, you can try to breathe through it, but you might need to move, right? So feel free to move and come out of it. Another way to avoid that is to kind of roll the foot so you can come in and out of it a little bit, or roll the ankle. Good, a couple more breaths there. Let's feel the three corners of that right foot in standing and the top of your head reaching toward the ceiling. Feeling that breath going in and going out. All right, let's bring that foot down, kind of wiggle the toes around or bringing the foot out. And then you will do the same thing on the other side. Okay, before we start stepping though, notice and stand in Tadasana for a moment. Notice any changes or differences. then when you're ready, we'll begin. So stepping the left foot forward. First, we're just taking those back toes into extension, and then you can exhale and hinge and repeat. It doesn't really matter when you breathe. The idea with the breath here is just that you are breathing, okay? You're not holding your breath, and you're also aware of your breathing. All right, now when you're ready to, you can start to roll over the top of the foot. So you come into that second, that toe flexion and plantar flexion position. Okay, now let's hold that flexion position. Trying to soften through your jaw, your tongue, your eyes. Feeling the three corners of the left foot. Breathing. And then coming out of that, standing for a moment and noticing. All right, now what I didn't mention we could need today, as I didn't realize it, is a wall space. Now, if you don't have a wall space, you might be able to make do with furniture and such, okay? So let me just show you first what I'm gonna do here, and then you can see what you need. And you know, you can either take me with you if you have a device that's mobile, or you can just listen. Okay, so let me see where you can. So what I'm going to be doing is I'm going to have my toes extended up the wall. I don't know if you can see that. Ball of the foot is here, heel is here, and my toes are actually pressing up the wall. And I'm going to be having my hands up the wall as well. And I'm bending my knee a little bit toward the wall. Okay, so it's like this, any amount. It can just bend this much. It doesn't have to bend like that much, okay? And then I'll be stepping that foot back and hinging at the hips. It's like a downward dog at the wall. And I'm going to talk you through this with breathing. And then I'll be stepping the other foot forward, toes up the wall, chest is lifted. Notice my arms stay straight throughout the sequence. And then I'll be coming back. Okay, I'm going to talk you through it all. You can keep watching me, or you can join in whenever you want to or whenever you're ready to. Okay, so we'll start by taking our right foot to the wall. And if your toes can bend like this, you'll try to take your toes up the wall, right? Some people have surgeries, they can't do this, okay? But if you can, I'm gonna stretch them, okay? My feet are hips distance apart, but my left foot comes back, but flat on the floor. Okay, so I've got the three corners of the back foot and the front foot on the floor. My arms come up above, mine are above my head. My arms are straight. I'm going to look at the space between my hands on the wall so that my chest is lifted. And then I'm going to bend my right knee any amount. Okay, this will be our inhale. Now to exhale, I'm going to unbend the knee, that front knee, engage my abdominals a little bit as I step my right foot next to my left foot and start to hinge at the hips. My head starts to come down between my arms. I'm going to pause, so we might do this breath by breath, but right now I'm just going to keep breathing. And then inhale, soften your knees so you can look at them, see that you're bending them. Exhale, and start to slowly step the left foot forward. Toes come up the wall, ball of foot is down, back heel is down. Chest lifts. I look up between the space between my hands. Let's take our exhale there. Inhale there. Now to exhale, I start to take that foot back. I round my spine a little bit to get there. Hinge at the hips, coming into this waterfall or wall downward dog. Now I'm going to right away bend the knees, round the spine a little bit to inhale, step the right leg forward. You don't have to do it one breath per movement like I'm showing now. You can continue to go more slowly if you'd like. On this warrior one at the wall, I look between my hands, chest lifts. Exhale to step back. Inhale to step other foot forward. Arms stay straight, as long as this, of course, modify if it's bothering your shoulder. Exhale to go back. Next time you get a foot forward, let's stay there and hold. So you've got your chest lifted, your shoulders, so I'm showing a healthy shoulder position, right? My arms are straight, they're up high, I'm pressing into the wall a little bit so my chest lifts. You could even have your arms down, right? You don't have to do this with arms above head. Let's take one more breath there, feeling wide across your collarbones and your feet solid. And then when you're ready, can exhale, come into the downward dog position, but feel free, of course, to have your arms in any position. They don't have to be high. You could do a forward fold instead or bend the elbows instead if needed. Keep breathing. And then when you're ready, let's bring your other leg forward and come back to that warrior one. It's like a mini warrior one at the wall with a toe stretch. Wide or shoulder blades relax down the back rather than up by the ears. Wide across the heart area. Breathing and then solidly grounded with the feet. Good. And then as you're ready, a little step back to that downward dog at the wall position, adjusting arms however you want them. And then let's slowly just bend your knees, let your arms come off the wall and stand up. All right, and then you can come away from the wall. Let's do a little swinging trunk twist. Just letting the arms flop around like wet noodles, making it big or making it small, whichever feels best. You can challenge yourself to try to see 360 degrees around yourself without getting too dizzy. Still finding that sense of groundedness through your feet, even if you're lifting the heels. Staying connected. All right, and then let's slowly come back to the center. We're gonna sit on our chairs for a moment. I'm sitting toward the front of my chair to try to have an upright spine if you can. And we're gonna take the knees together and do a little thing for the hips. Okay, if you need a pillow behind your back or you need the back support, that's fine too. All right, so first, just seeing if you can get those inner knees to touch. We're gonna try to keep them there. And you can imagine you're trying to kick a ball off the side. Oh, we didn't even use the balls yet. Okay, kicking the ball off the side like that. And then come back to center. And then try the other side. So this is kind of just taking a look at your internal rotation of the hips, right? Some people, it might be nearly impossible. I have a lot of internal rotation, so you don't need to expect that it looks like mine by any means, although it might. It might be really hard to get that, okay? So you're just noticing for yourself. Okay, and now let's walk the knees and feet wide. So my knees are pointing the same direction as my feet. I'm going to sit up tall. I'm coming into a bit of hip abduction and a little bit of external rotation too. Now I'm going to walk them in a little bit just so I can rest my elbows. So they're close enough for that. And then if you want to, you can come down between the feet if that feels accessible and good to you. Notice your breath coming in and going out. And then slowly coming back up, hands to knees. Rising up and sit for a moment. You can use the back of your chair if you want. Eyes can be open or closed. Notice how your own back and hips feel just with those two movements. So sometimes bending forward, flexion of the spine can feel like a release for the low back, depending on what you have going on, right? For tight muscles, that might feel good. Stenosis in the spine, that might feel good. But if you've got herniated discs in the spine, that might feel terrible, right? So you got to find what feels okay to you in your back on a daily basis. Because sometimes you have all those things. We have everything. All right, we're going to stand again. So you can come to the front of your chair. What we're going to do is stand and hover in a squat. So I'm just turning so you can see what I'm going to do. I'm going to hinge at the hips. My feet and knees are the same distance. So I'm taking my nose over my toes, and I'm going to challenge myself to hover above the chair, not using my hands. If you need to use your hands and that's a challenge, you can do that. All right, here we go. We're just going to inhale and then exhale, hover if you can. And you can try taking a few breaths there. Feel yourself trying to push your knees open the same amount as your feet and trying to keep your spine in neutral. So some people will be here and you might need to come higher up in order to find that neutral place. That's fine. One more breath if you can, and then stand all the way up. Let's inhale, arms out to the side and up. And exhale, bringing them out and down. All right, we're gonna grab our balls. Okay, so find your ball. And you can hold on to a chair. You can also do this seated in a chair. We're just gonna roll out one of our feet. Okay, so for this first part, just kind of warming up the foot. And you can use any kind of ball here, just whatever gives you the kind of response you want. You don't want it to be so intense that you're clenching anywhere. You want it to feel like a little bit of a massage, right? And everybody likes different amount of pressure in massage, right? So you can make that personalized as well. Keep breathing. And we're not going to do a real detailed, sometimes we get really detailed with this foot massage, but just feel free to pick a few tight spots, lift and lower the toes. Good. And then we'll come off that foot. Notice the two sides and the difference in how you make contact with the floor. Your breath. And then let's do the second foot. Feel free to hold on to something, to sit down, whatever you want to do here in a way so that you can have your neck, your shoulders, your jaw soft. Can find tight spots and lift in lower toes if you'd like. All right, and then you can set your ball to the side and stand on your feet here. And again, noticing the difference. Follow your breath in and out. All right. I was going to also do a calf release with the ball, but I think we'll save that for next time so that we can get this hip stuff. Janet, I feel like this hip stuff will be good for you. So let's do what these are called are hip CARs. And CAR stands for controlled articular rotation. So it's meant to be a very slow rotation with control of a joint that helps increase mobility and also strength. Okay, so you'll want, this is not meant to be a balance exercise, so feel free to hold on to something, all right? And we'll start in Tadasana and we'll work with whatever leg is on the outside from where you're using support, okay? We're gonna try to maintain the rest of your body in Tadasana and just move the hip joint, okay? So you'll see what I mean as we go. So we'll inhale to stand tall and exhale, lifting your outside knee forward and up into hip flexion. Okay. Inhale, stand tall, and exhale, we're gonna open up the knee to the side so the sole of the foot is facing the floor. Now I'm trying to do this without leaning in. Keep breathing, of course, okay? And then from here, we're going to internally rotate the hip. So now the sole of the foot faces behind me. Now I might need to really lower my knee down a lot, okay? Or you might not. See how I'm maintaining Tadasana and I've got my hip like this. But remember, I said I have a lot of internal rotation, so you might need to be here, okay? Good, keep breathing. And then taking the knee behind into hip extension. So from the side, it looks like this. But I'm trying to do that without leaning forward and without back bending. So everything else is just in Tadasana, right? And I'm trying not to do anything with my spine. It's hard. Keep breathing. And then when you're ready, let's come back to hip flexion, forward and up. Good, and we're gonna go straight back. If you need a break, you can take it. You're gonna take it straight back again into extension. Keep breathing. And then when you're ready to, we're going out to the side in that internal rotation. Okay, keep breathing. And now we're staying out to the side, sole of foot faces floor, inner knee faces forward. Good. You'll notice that standing hip working too, and then forward and up, whatever amount you can, and then down. Good. You just kind of lean side to side or hula hoop the hips around. So this is an awesome one to do every day to just keep your hips strong and mobile or even regain mobility in your hips. All right, let's do the other side. You can either turn your body around or you can move your chair. All right, and when you're ready, you start in Tadasana. Inhale, stand tall. Exhale, outside knee comes up. Good, inhale. Exhale, out to the side, sole of foot facing floor. Good, inhale. Good, exhale, internally rotate. Good, try not to lean as you do it. It's hard. Inhale, and then exhale, going behind the back. Good, inhale. And exhale, bring it forward and up. Good. Now we're going to go straight back again. Exhale. Try to feel the three corners of that standing foot. Good. Keep breathing. Good. And now out to the side. Internal rotation. Good. And now keeping it out to the side, the sole of foot faces the floor, inner knee forward. Good. And then forward, maybe it can come up higher. Good. And then down. Nice, you guys. All right, let's do some hula hoops here, or you can do zombie hula hoops where you just relax your upper body as well. Then go the opposite direction. All right, we're gonna come down toward the floor again. If you want to use your chair to help you with that, please feel free. You can also move it out of your way. I'm gonna come down the way I came up, the bear, get down, bend the knees, hands placed down, walking forward, and knees come down, head. Let's come on to our backs, and if there's anything that you know you want for resting in Shavasana, you can feel free to get that around you now. Like I'm just gonna get my blanket and my blocks nearby. Coming down onto the back, and pause for a moment in constructive rest pose and feel for what your body would like to do right now. And you can follow that impulse. Like for me, my body would like a knee squeeze. Yours might want something different. Sometimes we don't know because we get so disconnected, so feel free to try a few things. Might be windshield wipers or a twist or a reclined butterfly pose or a figure 4 stretch. Oh, in the style of yoga that I've chosen to share and just evolved over time is really a type of yoga without dogma, where the whole goal here is finding that sense of union and self-awareness, and not about following any rules or what you need or should do, but giving you some space to explore what your body needs with some informed knowledge just about how the body works. And when you're ready to, if you want to do a few other poses, feel free. Or you can also find your way to a resting position. It could be Shavasana or any kind of restorative pose. Shavasana is just lying flat. I'm doing that with blocks beneath my knees and a blanket below my head. The idea for the final resting position in yoga is to practice letting go. You want to give yourself enough support so that it's easier to practice letting go, especially at first. You might take a sigh or two to help you release remaining tension. You can let go of any breath control practice you've been using. And feeling for letting go to gravity again. Feeling for softening around your eyes, your jaw and tongue. Inviting that softness to move down into your throat, your chest and shoulders, your arms and hands. Inviting that softness into your belly, your back, your hips. And down into your legs, ankles, and feet.